Alright, shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. It's your brother Anayata back out here on these Moab Kingdom streets. Out here in the land of Moab, in the kingdom of Moab, I should say rather, in the tech city known as Shenzhen. Let me just pan around for you so you can see. Alright. So I want to finish up on where I left off, I believe it was last week. Talking about these women, because as you know, a lot of us, we have, and it's been a main contributor to the Passport Brothers movement. A lot of us think that leaving the country, you'll find, how can I say, you'll find better options of women, but it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Feminism has influenced women all over the globe, right? It's not just in America. However, it hit America the hardest because that's where the idea sprang up from. But its influence is widespread. You'll find it out here in the East as well. It's starting to, and this is how you know it's bad, when it starts to make its way into the Middle East, right? Where you know, the men out there, they run a strict program, but even there, you're seeing cracks, and you're seing cracks in their influence, right? With dealing with feminism. So to finish off, I want to continue on with scriptures about women and their conduct and how they should act, and liken that to the women here in Moab, just to let you brothers know that these women all over the planet, they're all the same, it doesn't matter their age, doesn't matter their gender, their belief system, right? This is why the Most High gave the Spirit to men, right? Because men rule with logic. Women rule on emotions, right? So, that being said, let's jump back into these scriptures where I left off at. Salakia brothers, bear with me. Good. Let me go into it. Good. So let's see. Let's jump into 1 Peter 3:1, and then we're going to jump into the book of Sirach. Let's go to 1 Peter 3:1. Peter 3:1. Bear with me, brothers. Let me find it. Bear with me, brothers. Let me get to it. 1 Peter 3:1. 1 Peter 3:1. Bear with me, brothers. Bear with me. One moment. Salakia, brothers. Salakia. Here we go. Good. Go right to it. Good, yeah, so 1 Peter 3:1. 1 Peter. Good. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband. Right? So what it's calling on is for women to be subservient to their man. Now, it's not just obviously well, if you're in the spirit, it's not just any man, right? It's a deserving man, right? If he shows the characteristics of leadership, right? If he's able to govern the household, if he can protect and provide, then that's the man that you're supposed to be in submission to, not just some idiot, right? Because you got a lot of men out here that they'll jump into the scriptures and say, oh, this woman's supposed to be following me. You know, you're supposed to be doing what I asked you to do. Yeah, but nobody's gonna follow a Derek with leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, the type of man that you're supposed to be following is not just some Joe Schmo, right? Nigga sits around and plays video games all day, eating cereal, smoking weed and shit like that. He's what do you call that? He's lazy, for lack of better words, right? He doesn't want to get up and work, right? He's always demanding of you, and he's a lion in his own household, right? And there's scriptures on that. You know what I'm saying? A man is not supposed to be act like a lion in his own household, roughly paraphrasing, right? So, you women, but for the man that is, you know, the man that does provide, the man that does carry out his duties as a husband and a father, you're supposed to be in submission of that man, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's natural order, right? Because that man, he's under the order of somebody else. So, you know, a lot of you women, the problem with a lot of you women, you think that in these modern times, feminism has taught you that being subservient to a man has made you a slave, but it doesn't. It frees you up from responsibilities. Now, as soon as a woman turns her back to the natural order, first thing that happens is she gets mad, or she gets very frustrated with her life, because now she has to take on the responsibilities of a man, and she realizes that she wasn't built for that capacity. But you know, her pride has her carry on, right? And so these women will be very prideful outwardly, but when they get home, they're popping antidepressants, drinking wine and stuff like that, because they know that they're not in their natural spot. They know that they're not in their natural lot. You know what I'm saying? And it hurts them to their spirit, but they don't want to let go of the things that have been taught to them as far as feminism goes. And so they hold on to feminism, and they because the thing about women is that they don't like to take accountability or responsibility for their actions. So they'd rather suffer in silence, so to speak, as opposed to admitting that they're wrong, right? So reading on. If any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. Right, so, and this talking about both men and women, right? So, both men and women who do not obey the word of what? The word of the Most High. If you do not obey, yeah, you're going to be influenced by the talk of other as a man, you're going to be carried away with the words of wives, right? To commit adultery. And two, for women, you're going to be carried away with the words of wives who don't live the life that you do, but they're asking you to how can I say? They use you as an experiment, right? They give you all this advice that they know they wouldn't take themselves, right? But they want to see how it works before they try to use it, right? And they end up ruining your marriages. That's what you have out here also too, is a lot of single women giving women in relationships bad advice, right? How are you going to give me advice? You don't have a man, but you want me to try this and try that. Those same things that you're telling me is the reason why you don't have a man, right? And you know, quiet as it's kept. Two things here out in the land of Moab. You have this social media site called Shun, and on there they have a thing called, and I spoke about this before in one of the last videos. They have this thing called toxic chicken soup, where women on Shun, they profess all these different philosophies and ideas about how to attract a man and how to keep a man. And meanwhile, these influencers, they don't have a man themselves, right? And what it's done, it's forced the divorce rate to go up, right? So what you'll see out here in the land of Moab is two things that have happened. The divorce rate has increased, and the rate of marriage has dropped to the point where now it's one of the highest in the world, if not the first, right, in the world. Talking about divorce rates and the decline in the rates of marriage, right? So that's feminism. That's thrown so many people off. Good. Good. So let's jump into Proverbs 7 and 11. Bear with me, brothers. Get right to it. Good. Proverbs 7 and 11. Let me start at 10. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. Right? So what happens is a lot of times when men go off is through the beauty of a woman. Right? And so you get attracted, and that might cause you to go off. It happens oftentimes with a I'll say this: the easiest woman to attract is a wife, right, or somebody's girlfriend, because she would have been in a relationship with a man for a long time, and what they say, familiarity breeds contempt, right? So after you get to know somebody for a long time, not that you hate that person, but you start to become extremely familiar with their characteristics, and the small things that you used to look past, it becomes very, very annoying and glaring. And women can't control that with themselves, with their mind, right? Their imagination, they're unable to control their emotions and their imagination. So the small things that used to be, that were small once, they can no longer look over. And so it becomes a big problem for you, right? And so I've always said this, that the easiest woman to attract is a woman who has who's in a relationship, either having a wife or having just a girlfriend, right? Which there's no such thing as a girlfriend. But it's easy to attract that type of woman because she's been with a man for a long time and she wants something new, or she thinks there's something better, right? And these type of women, they jump from man to man to man, never being able to settle, because all men are flawed, right? All men have their quirks and their things that they're not good at or whatever. And so over the course of time, yeah, you're gonna find things that you don't like about that man, but that doesn't mean that you just stop performing your duty, right? But in these last days, these women who act on their emotions, you're gonna see they're gonna be put to death, right? And these men who continue on in the ways of adultery, they're gonna be put to death too if you don't repent. While the doors of mercy are still open and there's still grace in the earth, right? So reading on. Good. Proverbs 7 and 11. This is Proverbs 7 and 10. Good. With the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. Right, so